everyone, my name is Mandira. Welcome to AglaSem, and today we are going to be doing Class 8, Chapter number 5, Judiciary. So let's start with the main heading of the chapter, which is Judiciary. What is the meaning of Judiciary? Judiciary basically refers to the system of courts in a country. तो आपने कभी अगर सुना होगा अपने पेरेंट्स के मुंह से हाई कोर्ट, सुप्रीम कोर्ट, डिस्ट्रिक्ट कोर्ट, all these systems of courts और उसके अंदर जो लोग काम करते हैं, how we can approach the courts, when we have to go to the court, all these questions will be answered in this question, and this is basically what the judiciary does. Okay, so let's start with the first main heading, which is that of what is the role of judiciary. Okay, so courts take decisions on a very large number of issues. They can decide that no teacher can beat a student, or about people sharing rivers between, river water between states. All these decisions courts can take. Okay, so let's first do the three main roles of judiciary. Okay, so the number one role of judiciary is dispute resolution. So if there is any kind of dispute या फिर कोई भी किसी का लड़ाई झगड़ा हो गया है ना, even if it is a small one or a big one, that's fine. For example, दो मैं आपको एक small और एक big झगड़े का example देती हूँ. जैसे on a more local scale, on a more smaller scale, if a husband and wife are fighting with one another, है ना, and they wish to seek divorce, then they will also go to the court, a civil court though. And similarly, if two states are fighting on the water of certain river, या फिर any one person has sued any other association, big corporation, जो हम जैसे हमारी multinational corporations हैं, उनको किसी ने sue कर दिया है, तो वो ये सारे के सारे जो disputes होते हैं हमारे country में on a larger level, ये भी they will go to the court. Okay, two different types of courts that we are going to study in this chapter only, but they will ultimately go to the court. Okay, so the judicial system provides a mechanism for solving disputes between citizens and the government, and two state governments, or between center and state governments. ठीक है, तो दो citizens के बीच में जो मैंने आपको बताया था divorce hearings भी सुन सकते हैं वो, है ना, for example. Then between citizens and the government, अगर किसी को लगता है कि certain sort of law is not up to the fundamental laws, है ना, जैसे for example article 377 was scraped off by the Supreme Court क्योंकि about the legality of gay marriage, क्योंकि people thought that law was actually infringing on the rights, basic human rights of someone. So again, that was the dispute that was done. And then between two state governments, जैसे मैं आपको बताया river waters के लिए कभी कभी conflict हो जाता है ना, तो ये सब चीजें. And between center and state government, so if there is a fight between center or state government, the court can take a stance on who is actually more on the favorable legal side, कि किसकी बात ज्यादा legally valid है, ठीक है, all those kinds of things. Number two role of the judiciary is judicial review. So this is basically power to strike down any particular laws passed by the parliament if it believes these are in violations of the basic structure of the constitution. ठीक है, तो जैसे कोई भी लॉ है जो citizens think कि ये, for example हमारे यहाँ बहुत सारे ऐसे ब्रिटिश एरा के लॉज हैं जब we were colonized by the British, कि वो लॉज अब इतना मीनिंग होल्ड नहीं करते हैं. If someone wants, then they can have them scraped off. Okay, then the court has the power to decide to scrape off certain laws if they are not, if the court thinks कि हमारे constitution के it's not following the ethos of the constitution. Okay, number three role is upholding the law and enforcing fundamental rights. So every citizen of India can approach the court if they think that their rights have been violated, or if they think that certain law has been broken. ठीक है, तो for example अगर जितने भी हमारे murder cases होते हैं, dowry cases होते हैं, rape cases होते हैं, सारे के सारे court में hearing होती है इनकी, because a law basically has been broken, so people will approach the court and the court will give them justice. This is how it works. ठीक है, यहाँ पे एक अच्छा एग्जाम्पल दिया हुआ है ऑफ हकीम शेख who was unable to find a hospital. अगर आपको याद होगा तो he was injured and he couldn't, hospitals refused to admit him, so obviously he filed a case against the state government hospitals and took it to the court, and then he got a compensation from the state government in West Bengal. Okay, so let's talk about the second main heading, which is that of what is independent judiciary. ठीक है, अब जुडिशरी तो हमें पता चल गया क्या है कि इट इज अ सिस्टम ऑफ कोर्ट्स, बट व्हाट अबाउट द इंडिपेंडेंस ऑफ जुडिशरी. इंडिपेंडेंस का क्या मतलब होता है? बेसिकली इंडिपेंडेंस का मतलब होता है सेपरेशन ऑफ पावर. ठीक है, सेपरेशन ऑफ पावर मतलब that the other branches of the government, the legislature and the executive cannot interfere in the work of the judiciary. So यहाँ पर हम थोड़ी सी बात करते हैं ऐसे politicians की, या फिर certain movie stars that are actually very rich and powerful and they can easily bribe themselves into the system. अगर उन्होंने कोई crime किया है तो उससे बचने के लिए they can bribe the system. तो ऐसे लोगों के प्रेशर में कोर्ट ना आ जाए, दैट्स व्हाई द कोर्ट इज मेड एब्सोल्युटली इंडिपेंडेंट. दैट मीन्स द कोर्ट does not have to report to any politician, any ruling party, nothing. Court is a separate entity on its own and it is completely independent. Okay, so why is this there? This is there because we want कि ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा justice should be delivered inside the court system, है ना. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए that if the son of a politician has committed any kind of crime, or if a very influential personality's relative has committed certain sort of crime, rich person has committed a crime, then they can easily bribe them their way out of the सुप्रीम कोर्ट. या फिर वो ऐसा कर सकते हैं कि दे विल से कि अगर आपने हमारे बेटे को क्विट नहीं किया, इफ यू डोंट लीव हिम देन वी विल डिसमिस यू एज अ जज. ये सब पावर्स जो हैं वो हमारे किसी भी पॉलिटिशियन, किसी भी सिटीजन के पास नहीं है. डजंट मैटर हाउ हाई रैंकिंग यू आर इन द सिस्टम ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट, दैट यू कैन impeach a judge. It is actually very hard. Once appointed to the office, it is also very very difficult to remove a judge. ठीक है. So the independence of the judiciary that allows the courts to play a central role in ensuring that there is no misuse of power by legislature and executive. तो अगर कोई IAS IPS ऑफिसर्स हैं वो अपनी पावर का मिसयूज नहीं कर रहे, या फिर कोई पॉलिटिशियंस हैं जो कि इलेक्टेड लीडर्स हैं हमारे, वो अपनी पावर का मिसयूज नहीं कर रहे, उसके लिए जुडिशरी इज अ वेरी गुड चेक. ओके, सो आपने कभी जरूर सुना होगा कि किसी बहुत इन्फ्लुएंशियल पर्सनालिटी का आपने अगर सुना हो कि दे वर एक्चुअली पुट बिहाइंड बार्स बाय द कोर्ट, है ना. बहुत बार ऐसा होता है कि इफ दे हैव कमिटेड अ क्राइम दे विल बी पुट बिहाइंड बार्स. सो दिस इज व्हाट दे आर ट्राइंग टू इंश्योर. Okay, so let's move on to the next main heading, which is that of what is the structure of courts in India. Okay, so there are 3 levels of the court system. The first is the tehsil or the district level. ठीक है, please find out कि आपके district का closest court कौन सा है. I stay in Delhi, so I think, I'm not sure, but some of them I know are Karkaduma court, Tisazari court. हमारे आसपास काफी सारे district level courts हैं. So please find out what is योर तहसील लेवल कोर्ट कहाँ पर है आपका. प्लीज फाइंड दैट आउट एंड डू कमेंट. द सेकंड लेवल जो है वो होता है हमारा हाई कोर्ट, विच इज एट द स्टेट लेवल. सो दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट, इलाहाबाद हाई कोर्ट, बॉम्बे हाई कोर्ट, है ना. ऑल दीज एक स्टेट में एक ही होता है. ठीक है. सो बेसिकली जो तहसील लेवल के कोर्ट्स हैं वो उसके अंडर आते हैं एंड दे हैव टू अबाइड बाय द डिसीजन ऑफ द हाई कोर्ट. ओके, and the third one is the Supreme Court, जो कि सिर्फ एक ही है, and that is situated in Delhi. So you can see वहाँ पर Chief Justice of India, who is basically the head judge of the Supreme Court. He always resides there. He stays there. So these are the basically the levels of or the structure of the courts in India. ठीक है. अब how are they connected to each other? The next question comes, है ना, कि तो जो हमारा तहसील वाला लेवल है या जो स्टेट लेवल है वो कैसे कनेक्टेड है. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, नंबर 1, 2 पॉइंट्स है इसके. नंबर 1 पॉइंट की जो लोअर लेवल कोर्ट जो है दैट हैज टू अबाइड बाय द डिसीजन ऑफ द हाई लेवल कोर्ट. So anything that high court is passing, tehsil level has to ensure that they abide by it. And similarly, if Supreme Court is passing, then high court and tehsil level court have to abide by it. Okay, so this is how they are related. Number 2, they are related in the sense that if someone is not satisfied with their decision passed at the district level court, they can always approach the high court. Similarly, if the high court they are not sufficiently happy with the decision passed by the high court, then they can approach the Supreme Court. So in this way they are interconnected, that sometimes cases get passed on from one court to another if the people involved in the case are not satisfied with the outcome of the case. Okay, so that's how it works. तो बहुत अच्छी बात है, आपको 3 you get 3 shots at getting justice, and the judges are actually extremely talented and very wise people, so they have passed very difficult exams to be there. So it's very unlikely that justice will not be delivered to you at the local level itself. But the thing is कि कभी-कभी due to lack of evidence or due to certain loopholes in the laws, that level of court doesn't have enough power to sort of mold a law in a certain case. तो सुप्रीम कोर्ट जो होता है वो इट इज द हाईएस्ट लेवल, तो वो लॉ को अपनी तरफ से अगर इंटरप्रेट करके कोई डिसीजन देते हैं, देन नोबडी कैन चैलेंज द सुप्रीम कोर्ट. ठीक है. ओनली आई थिंक देयर इज अ सर्टेन एक्सेप्शन दैट इफ समवन हैज बीन ग्रांटेड द डेथ सेंटेंस, देन दे कैन अप्रोच द प्रेसिडेंट फॉर मर्सी, and I think that's about it. उसके बाद आपको you have to that's the system, that's the only exception in which you can challenge a Supreme Court's decision. ठीक है. So यहाँ पर एक छोटा सा एक स्टोरी दिया हुआ है about लक्ष्मण कुमार who married 20-year-old सुधा गोयल. और इन लोगों का एक very sad unfortunate day. Sudha was found, उसकी साड़ी was like burning and she was found in flames and she basically passed away due to her burns in the hospital. ठीक है. सो एक जो इनका हाई कोर्ट में इन्होंने अपील किया था उसमें लक्ष्मण एंड जो उसके मदर थे और उसके ब्रदर इन लॉ वो अक्विट हो गए. अक्विट मतलब होना कि प्रूवन नॉट गिल्टी. ठीक है. So basically they were said that they are innocent people and they were let go, but then their decision was challenged in the Supreme Court, or Supreme Court actually ensured कि उनको जब थोड़ा सा डिटेल में उन्होंने केस देखा तो they found out that there were certain facts that were not evaluated properly. तो उसके accordance में what they did was they changed their decision and they were actually put behind bars. ठीक है. सो ऐसा हो सकता है कि हाई कोर्ट का डिसीजन कुछ और हो, जब सुप्रीम कोर्ट में जाए तो कभी कभी ज्यादा एविडेंस मिल जाता है, या वो किसी तरीके से इंटरप्रेट करते हैं, किसी तरीके से क्वेश्चनिंग करते हैं, एंड दे कैन पास अ डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ लॉ. ठीक है. सो दिस इंश्योर्स दैट इवन इफ यू थिंक दैट हाई कोर्ट वाज नॉट एबल टू डिलीवर जस्टिस टू यू, यू कैन ऑलवेज अप्रोच द सुप्रीम कोर्ट. ठीक है. सो अक्विटेड का तो मैंने आपको मतलब बता ही दिया है, फाउंड नॉट गिल्टी. ओके. So let's move on to the next main heading, which is that of what are the different branches of the legal system. यहाँ पे बस दो ही branches हैं of the legal system. There's criminal law and there is civil law. So let's study the differences between criminal and civil law. तो criminal law में मैं आपको बताई थी ना, थोड़ी बड़ी लेवल की dispute solve होती हैं, जैसे कि किसी का harassment, theft, dowry, murder. Okay? It usually begins with lodging an FIR, which is first information report. Okay? With police who investigate the crime after which the case is filed. And if found guilty, the accused can be sent to jail or they can be fined also. Okay. With civil law क्या होता है? Basically deals with harm or injury to the rights of individuals. For example, disputes relating to sale of land, purchase goods, rent matters, divorce cases. है ना? तो थोड़ा सा एक दो individuals के बीच में dispute हो जाती है, तो तब civil law comes into play. Petition has to be filed as opposed to an FIR. वो जरूरी नहीं है. ठीक है. कभी कभी two people want to separate from a marriage due to mutual differences. It's not because one has beaten the other one, or some sort of criminal activity has occurred. They just want to separate due to any kind of n number of reasons. Then they will go to the civil court. Okay. So civil court gives specific relief asked for. ठीक है. For instance, in a case between landlord and tenant, the court can order the flat to be vacated and impending rent to be paid. तो उसमें कोई jail या इतना बड़ा बहुत बड़ा fine involved नहीं होता है. It is just like more on a lower level. ठीक है. So let's come to the final heading of the chapter, which is that of does everyone have access to courts? Now technically yes, that's true. Everyone has access to the court. लेकिन कभी कभी क्या होता है, आपने जरूर सुना होगा अपने घर में भी, that इतना कोर्ट कचहरी के चक्कर लग जाएंगे, या फिर बहुत लंबी वेट होती है किसी कोर्ट की हियरिंग के लिए, बहुत लंबा वेट होता है बिकॉज बहुत सारे पेंडिंग केसेस कोर्ट्स में हैं. दूसरी बात, आपको एक लॉयर को पैसे देने होते हैं, यू हैव टू हायर अ लॉयर, सो दैट ऑल्सो बिकम्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट. नॉट एवरीवन कैन अफोर्ड द फीस ऑफ अ लॉयर और एनी काइंड ऑफ वहाँ पे आपको कोर्ट में जाने के लिए, अपॉइंटमेंट लेने के लिए भी you have to cross a number of hurdles, and some people, especially who are getting oppressed, might not have the kind of resources to do that. है ना? So किसी के पास हो सकता है कि लॉयर के लिए पैसे नहीं है, या फिर they don't have enough connections to go to a lawyer कि कहाँ से ढूंढे, कौन सा लॉयर ढूंढे. अगर किसी को ढूंढा भी तो what's the probability that the lawyer will not sort of lutify them. तो यही problems बहुत सारी हमारी आती हैं. इसकी वजह से there is a very good provision in the constitution. It is basically that of public interest litigation. ठीक है. और PIL, to increase access to justice. It allows any individuals or organization to file a public interest litigation in the High Court or Supreme Court on behalf of those whose rights have been violated. So if for example you want to help someone out जो आपके यहाँ काम करते हैं और who does not have that much access to kind of resources, तो क्या करोगे आप, उनके behalf पे एक organization के पास जा सकते हो. Especially NGOs बहुत अच्छे होते हैं इन मामलों में. You can go to an NGO and they will file a PIL on their behalf. ठीक है. तो in the early years, PIL was used to secure justice for a large number of issues such as bonded laborers को निकालना, inhuman work conditions, release of prisoners, all these kinds of things. So the courts exercise a crucial role in interpreting the fundamental rights of citizens, as you saw in the above case, and the Constitution interpreted Article 21 of the Constitution on the right to life, to include the right to food. ठीक है. So they therefore ordered the state to take certain steps and provide food for all, including the midday meal scheme. So even जो हमारी midday meal scheme है, वो एक PIL के through किसी ने एक organization ने PIL डाला था, उसके बाद midday meal scheme came to be ensured. तो उसमें उन्होंने right to life में right to food भी include कर दिया. ठीक है. So but there are also court judgments that people believe work against the best interests of common people. ऐसा कैसे हो सकता है? When activists who work on issues concerning the right to shelter and housing for the poor believe that recent judgments on evictions are a far cry from earlier judgments. है ना? While recent judgments tend to view the slum dwellers as encroachers, earlier judgment had tried to protect the livelihood of slum dwellers. अब जो हमारे यहाँ झुग्गी झोपड़ी का एक इशू है कि बहुत सारी झुग्गियां हैं और झोपड़ी है या स्लम्स हैं, है ना, उनके जो इश्यूज है, यहाँ पे ये बात हो रही है कि इविक्शन मतलब किसी को उनके घर से या किसी भी चीज से निकाल देना. So earlier it used to be the court was much more sympathetic to them कि they don't have access to land और कैसे करेंगे, but अब वो जैसे ही illegal construction में कहीं पर भी slum दिखता है, they are very apathetic, they will just get rid of it. Okay, that's what they are saying. So although it will require a lot of resources and a lot of time to actually go to a court, but that does not mean that it is not an effective system. They are actually fighting for the rights of so many people. They are providing safeguarding the rights of so many people. So if any kind of dispute was to occur, one must always approach the court. Okay, so this was basically the chapter on judiciary and the role of the judiciary, क्या होता है, कैसे होता है, what kinds of courts exist in the country, and I really hope that you understood this chapter well. If you have any questions, feel free to comment them down in the section and do subscribe to the channel. Thank you for listening to me.